Don't fart in an Apple store. They don't have windows. Today, I'm going to recap a 2016 action sci-fi film called Assassin's Creed. The narrative commences with a historical dissection of the Knights Templar, a faction infamous for their malevolent objectives. Their ceaseless pursuit has been for the Apple of Eden, an enigmatic relic believed to bestow upon its holder the dominion to manipulate the free-willed cognition of mankind. Over the course of many centuries, their ambition has been to secure this potent artifact. Yet their ambitions are thwarted by the Brotherhood of Assassins, a clandestine and age-old society committed to the halting of the Templars and the protection of humanity from the potentially catastrophic sway of the Apple. The tale transitions to 1492 AD in Spain, unveiling Aguilar, a proficient adherent of the Assassin clan. He is inducted into the Brotherhood, assuming the grave responsibility of contending against the Templar, with a resolve to inhibit them from possessing the apple, regardless of the exigencies. As a rite of his initiation, Aguilar endures the customary ritual of having his ring finger amputated, and is endowed with exceptional gauntlets by his compatriot assassin, Maria. Amidst this ritual, he articulates the doctrine that guides the ethos of the Assassins. We labor in obscurity to uphold the illumination. We are assassins. The storyline then catapults to the 20th century, introducing us to Callum Lynch, a disturbed young lad. He endeavors to traverse rooftops with his bicycle, yet, alas, he fails to reach the opposite end and descends. Following this, he returns home, only to stumble upon a harrowing scene involving his assassin father and Templar mother. He discerns his mother, devoid of life on a chair, and his father with a knife, revealing the grim reality of her demise. Shortly, a contingent of Templars besiege the house, prompting Callum's father to urge him to flee. Bereft of options, the frightened boy absconds via the rooftops, forsaking his former existence. In the contemporary epoch, an adult Callum finds himself incarcerated and destined for execution for a purported transgression. It's his natal day, and he is slated to receive the capital punishment on this very day. The jail wardens escort him to a chamber of torment, where they bind him to a berth and infuse a mercury substance within him. In the dwindling moments, Callum reminisces about the cherished time spent with his mother, whilst also resenting his father for the adversities endured. Unexpectedly, Callum regains consciousness within an arcane establishment, where Dr. Sofia Rikkin greets him. She informs him that in the eyes of the world beyond, he is already deceased. Dr. Sofia then unveils his distinctive lineage and enjoins him to assist in her scholarly endeavors. Still bewildered, Callum rises and attempts to flee, but as he scurries to the periphery of the complex, he realizes he is located somewhere in the external realm, making escape a futile endeavor. Dr. Sofia informs him that he's within the premises of the Abstergo Foundation, an establishment striving for worldwide harmony. At that moment, a sentry administers a tranquilizer to Callum, plunging him into unconsciousness. Subsequently, he is escorted to a chamber designated for experimentation, where Sofia acquaints him with the Animus, an astonishing apparatus capable of scrutinizing human DNA to enable individuals to traverse the memories of their forebears. Despite Callum's objections, he is interfaced with the device, unveiling the vision of Aguilar, a figure from over 5 centuries past. As Callum immerses deeper into the entrancing journey of embodying Aguilar, he finds himself poised on a precipice alongside a cadre of adept assassins, all zeroed in on an imperative mission: the liberation of Prince Ahmed, progeny of Sultan Muhammad, who is now in the clutches of the Templars, concealed within a barn. Amidst the palpable anxiety, a valiant villager steps forth, disclosing his role in harboring the prince. This act, however, morphs into a grave misjudgment as Ojeda, a merciless Templar chieftain, decrees the annihilation of the villager's entire kin. Subsequently, a proclamation is made by the Templars, signifying the town's impending retribution for their supposed collusion with the assassins. In sync, Aguilar and his assassin comrades, shrouded in the veil of twilight, stealthily advance towards the Templars to emancipate Prince Ahmed. With an expeditious and exact assault, Aguilar lunges at the Templar commander, while his cohorts adeptly incapacitate the guardians encircling the prince. However, Ojeda emerges as a formidable foe, retaliating fiercely. Post-slaying an assassin, he targets Maria, who is endeavoring to shepherd the prince to refuge. What follows is an extended pursuit, with Aguilar fervently striving to overtake Ojeda. Astride horses, they execute audacious leaps and stratagems, showcasing their exceptional prowess. Aguilar ultimately succeeds in leaping onto the same conveyance as Ojeda, engaging in a vehement confrontation to ensure the prince's well-being. Fast forward to the present, Sofia abruptly severs Callum's linkage to the Animus, yanking him back to the tangible world. This disconnection triggers the bleeding effect in Callum, where the recollections of his ancestor transiently meld with his current consciousness, inciting disarray and sephalgia. He begins to witness Aguilar's images independently, without being interfaced to the Animus. In the ensuing scene, a discussion unfolds between Sofia and her father, Rikkin, regarding the strides they've made in pinpointing the location of the Apple of Eden. The reality that they are Templars unveils, harboring the belief that Callum, as a lineage bearer of Aguilar, is the keystone to the relic's concealed location. Sofia's aspirations to etch her name in Templar annals fuels her resolve, whereas Rikkin is fervent about acquiring the apple to advance the Templars' ambition of human dominion. As Callum reverts to consciousness post his Animus session, the vestiges of Aguilar's life and visions linger. Sofia elucidates the intent behind the Animus and beseeches Callum for wholehearted collaboration to unveil further invaluable insights and ancestral memories embedded in his genetic tapestry. She pacifies a tumultuous Callum, escorting him to another chamber, unveiling that they've been vigilantly observing him since his nativity. Sofia discloses the sorrow-laden narrative of Aguilar, recounting the murder of his parents at the hands of Ojeda, which propelled him on a vengeful trajectory, culminating in his allegiance with the assassins. Imbibing this, the relevance of the apple intertwined with Aguilar's antiquated existence unfurls, rendering Callum cognizant of the colossal obligation he shoulders. Transitioning to the dining arena of the facility, Callum metamorphoses into a focal point of scrutiny and intrigue among other inmates, who are likewise entangled in Templar experimental endeavors. At this juncture, Moussa, an offspring of a Haitian assassin, extends his counsel to Callum, advising discernment in his choices and allegiance to the righteous cause, subtly dissuading cooperation with the Templars. Simultaneously, a strain escalates as Rikkin interrogates Sofia about the advancement with Callum. He craves immediate fruition and menacingly hints at supplanting her if the expectations are not met. Sofia, however, remains unyielding in her quest to decrypt the enigmas nestled within Callum's genetic reminiscence. Back in solitude within his chamber, Callum is visited by the ghostly apparition of Aguilar. The visuals evoke a catalyst within Callum, who in a surreal moment finds himself engaged in a phantom duel with his forebear. Astonishingly, Callum discerns the embodiment of Aguilar's nimbleness and martial prowess within him. As aides hasten to subdue him for another session with the Animus, he unfurls his newfound martial adeptness in a bid to repel them. Despite his efforts, he is overpowered and hauled to the Animus. Upon interfacing with the cryptic mechanism, Callum delves deeper into Aguilar's past. This instance, he finds himself ensnared in a dungeon alongside Maria and their chieftain, Benedicto, as they brace for a ghastly demise orchestrated by Ojeda. The strain intensifies as Ojeda ignites Benedicto ablaze right before their gaze, yet Aguilar's demise is not imminent. Exhibiting a bold showcase of prowess, he liberates himself and Maria from their bindings and wreaks havoc upon their jailers. In unity, they elude the Templars, orchestrating a magnificent explosion as they flee. The Templars, with Ojeda and his brigade, exert their utmost in pursuit. Amidst rooftop chases and vehement confrontations, Callum vicariously revels in the exhilaration of Aguilar's heart-thumping ventures. Notwithstanding Ojeda's resolve, Aguilar's ingenuity and nimbleness enable him to outfox the Templars repeatedly. However, within the facility, the vigor of the memories afflicts Callum, triggering a seizure that desynchronizes him from the Animus. Distressed for his health, Sofia soothes and attends to him. Upon regaining consciousness, Sofia reiterates their paramount quest for global tranquility, bestowing upon him his mother's necklace as a poignant reminder of his history. In the following scene, Rikkin personally engages Callum, extending a proposition. In reciprocity for Callum's aid in unearthing the Apple of Eden for the Templars, they tender a recompense. Subsequently, Rikkin escorts Callum to a chamber populated with seemingly comatose individuals. He unveils Callum's father's blade, the very instrument of his mother's demise, disclosing that he too is detained within the same establishment. As Rikkin exits, Callum grasps the blade and is startled by a vision of his father materializing before him. In his chamber, Rikkin faces Sofia's rebuke for overly taxing Callum. Yet Rikkin contends that harnessing Callum's loathing for his father will willingly coax him into the Animus. Eventually, Callum confronts his father, Joseph, unloading years of wrath and resentment. Joseph elucidates that his mother opted for death over the exploitation by the Animus, a self-sacrifice to shield him and the Creed. He admonishes Callum about the peril of the Templar's snare, warning of the cataclysm the apple could unleash. Nonetheless, Callum, seething with rage, vows to retrieve the apple and extinguish the Creed for his father's deeds, tendering his mother's necklace as a token of his resolve, and consents to reconnect with the Animus voluntarily. As Callum is escorted back to his chamber, an assault by one of the assassin descendants ensues, but Callum adeptly fends off the assailant until the guards intercede. Thereafter, Callum voluntarily re-enters the Animus, submerging himself once again into the labyrinth of Aguilar's recollections. On this occasion, Aguilar and Maria pinpoint the location of the apple, held by the Sultan, who intends to trade it for his son's liberation. As the Templar Grandmaster, Thomas, unveils the box sheltering the apple, an onslaught by Aguilar and Maria on the soldiers ensues, spawning tumult. Aguilar succeeds in subduing Thomas with a blade at his throat, but concurrently, Ojeda holds Maria in a similar peerless grasp. This precipitates a fraught deadlock between the two factions, yet eventually, Maria offers herself as a sacrifice to uphold the Creed. Infuriated by the demise of his cherished comrade, Aguilar orchestrates a savage assault on Ojeda, culminating in his death by the concealed blade of Maria. With the Apple of Eden in his possession, Aguilar navigates an exit from the scene, battling through a tunnel only to be encircled by soldiers at its end. Resolute in securing the apple, he executes a daring leap off a bridge, plunging into the waters below and swimming to refuge. Transitioning to the present, the Animus is depicted unraveling, albeit Callum remains unscathed and continuously linked to Aguilar. The scientific personnel encircling him are engrossed in the sight of Aguilar, rendezvousing with Christopher Columbus, entrusting him with the apple under a vow of its safeguarding and concealment till his demise. Post this disclosure, Sofia hastily commands her men to excavate Columbus' burial site in pursuit of the Apple of Eden. As the alterations within the facility resonate with the other assassins, a fierce confrontation with the guards unfolds, aiming to reach and eliminate Callum. Simultaneously, Callum finds himself amidst a mental realm, encircled by Aguilar and fellow Creed assassins, with the visage of his mother, garbed as an assassin, guiding him to the apple. In a frantic maneuver, Rikkin instructs his men to cleanse the facility while orchestrating his exit. The other assassins overpower the guards, seizing control of the facility and advancing towards the Animus. Amidst the turmoil, Joseph displays valor but succumbs eventually. Upon reaching the Animus, the assassins are astonished to witness Callum in conversation with his deceased mother, who accentuates the gravity of the Creed, urging him to thwart the malevolence. This moment is pivotal as Callum wholeheartedly adopts his identity as an assassin, spearheading a retaliatory onslaught against the invading Templar soldiers. He hastens to the rooftop, aiming to thwart Rikkin's escape, yet alas, Rikkin evades capture, ascending in helicopter. Subsequently, the Templars orchestrate a clandestine revelation of the Apple of Eden. Upon discerning her father's nefarious motives, Sofia denounces alliance with him, striving to thwart him from divulging their malevolent schemes. Nevertheless, Rikkin disregards her entreaties, proceeding to expose the apple to the assemblage. Unbeknown to them, Callum alongside the assassins has adeptly breached the premises, and are strategically positioned for an ambush. As Rikkin presents the luminous apple to an exultant congregation, Callum audaciously executes a lethal strike on him. He then vanishes amidst the multitude, having secured the apple. In the concluding scene, Sofia stumbles upon her father's lifeless form, vowing to inherit the helm of his enterprise. The narrative culminates with Callum perched atop a rooftop, surveying the cityscape, with the mighty Apple of Eden in possession, flanked by 2 comrade assassins. Nonetheless, the destiny of the artifact and the forthcoming chapter of the Creed linger in ambiguity. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy and hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.